Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Monday the 15th of September and this video is for educational purpose only. There's no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. Not much has happened since we spoke last, except on the US market that closed at a new all-time highs on Nasdaq 100 and is in a fairly strong bullish trend. There is divergence on the RSI. We can illustrate that with our horizontal line here, as you can see. So the strength indicator is not really, well, it's following a little bit, but it's lower here than over here. So we are in a little bit of divergence or imbalance in the market. However, trust the trend, and for now it seems like we are pushing higher towards 24,355, possibly up to 24,593 area, which is the 161.8 projection of this correction here. It's a little bit unusual for September. But that's what it is, so we have to just try follow the market and try to read it. Pushing a little bit higher here, pre-market, and moving into the Dow Jones index. That set back a little bit Friday, but still is in a bullish trend, but also divergence here, indicating be cautious a little bit. But again, the trend is your friend, so as long as it's there about 45,000, the bullish trend is intact. S&P 500 was a little bit calmer, did have a new all-time high, not a new all-time high close, but a new all-time high, and touched the 161.8 projection of this little correction here at 6,600. Still in a bullish trend, but as you can see here, also divergence indicating likely lower levels. So it is not likely lower levels, but sorry, trend exhaustion mode. But we don't have a top and reversal in place. So for until then, well, then we are still bullish on the trend there. In Asian markets, a little bit back. This started with that, but closed a little bit. On bullish territory and still bullish trend, but also here we have divergence on the RSI, so we can see the strength indicator is not really agreeing with it, with this bullish trend here. But again, we don't have a top and reversal indication in place, so for now trust the trend, and I think we could still see a little bit of correction, but there is potential higher. But this negative candle there excuse me, is indicating that could maybe be a little bit of exhaustion coming in, or sellers taking on control. But if it's taken out, well, then the bullish trend will continue. On the Nikkei, well, not really much. Didn't move much today. Slightly lower, but still bullish trend. But also here divergence on the RSI, indicating trend exhaustion. But it's still an indication. It's not a sign that it will turn around. It's just be cautious out there. Moving on to the European markets, pushing a little bit higher here this morning. So can it close this gap up to 5,444? If it does close above, and if RSI closes back above the 60 threshold, well, then we are likely to to test the peak there and the previous highs over here from last year. No, earlier this year, sorry, from earlier this year. So we could have a push above 5,500. So let's see about that. That's interesting times if it can keep up. And here we have the CFD. It's now bounced to the 61.8 retracement at 5,424, and could push higher. Positive sentiment on the RSI, so that is key. And there is actually no divergence on the EuroStoxx50, indicating we could push higher. DAX, on the other hand, is struggling quite a bit. Really unchanged this morning, or slightly unchanged this morning, a little bit up there. But negative sentiment on the SI. We need to get back above 24,064 as a minimum and above the cloud, and get RSI back above 60 threshold to support a bullish trend. So a little bit divergence between the European index, so to speak, the EuroStoxx50, and the DAX 40 index. of what it should do. Still key support here, 23,482. If it takes out that, then it has confirmed and established a fairly strong bearish trend. So let's see if that unfolds. On the FX market, it has been fairly quiet Friday and this morning here. Euro dollar still in this range here, which is just below 118 and 115.80. Slightly rising though, slightly rising. You see higher tops here and higher lows. So could test 118, but it's not convincing. RSI still hasn't closed above 60 threshold, so I'm not that convinced just yet. I want confirmation to do anything here. So, but it seems like we're crawling higher, but it's not really played out just yet. Sterling dollar testing resistance there at 135.90. And if it can close above, it can push above here, and I think maybe it can, but RSI is still testing 60 threshold. So keep an eye throughout the day. Will it retrace and slide back? That will be the key question here for the next 24 hours, I think. Will it slide back in as it did here sometime last week, and then it could still be stock range bound here. On the euro sterling now again hovering around this 61.8. I think we could see it sliding back to 786 retracement at 86.20. Key support again down here, 86. Key strong support. So that will be key to watch. Will it move down there or will it bounce? So there's some interesting maybe development here on sterling dollar and euro sterling. Dollar yen. Well, same picture for what is it, six weeks or so, basically between 149 and 146.20, and really not much to say there. Euro yen, slightly positive or bullish trend, but a strong resistance here just below 174. That should be observed. It can't really push above it seems, but if it can, and if RSI can get back above 60, those two are requirements. But we actually have kind of a top in place here. But yeah, it's 171.10 around this level here. We have some support, a break below and a close below. Well, then we have a bearish situation down to 169.70 support and possibly lower. But for now, also a little bit range bound, to be honest. What is not range bound is Aussie yen that is still trying to push higher, and I still believe we will see it towards the up to 98.60, the 138 projection, and possibly also all the way up to around 99.30.40, where we have the 161.8 projection of this correction here. So there's still bullish trend. You can see all moving averages are pushing higher. RSI in above 60 and indicating likely higher levels. There we can see some corrections though. I could imagine that we get it when we hit 138.2, the 98.60, a little bit of correction, but the bullish trend is intact, or will be intact. And sterling yen, is it today that it really is taking off and really breaking the 200 level? Not just spiking higher, it has spiked higher again yesterday, just above this little peak there, and just above. So it is building up to do it, and I think it can do it, and that is quite interesting development here on sterling yen. You see why it's such a significant one around the 200 here. It's really strong, and it seems like also very psychological level. I mean, it paves the road higher, and what we can do, we can try to guesstimate what it can move to by, okay, maybe 202 in the first place, or what if I measure from here? It's just a guesstimate, really. We have this strong, or this larger correction there. Well, it says again around the 200, what 201.87, so it's around 202. I think that will be the first step but it could also really trigger a lot of stops that could take it higher. Moving on to Aussie dollar, which is also on the move, has spiked higher this morning here to reach the resistance there at 66.80, just a few pips below the 176.4 projection. So a bit of volatility here, but RSI is still bullish, no divergence, indicating likely higher levels. So we could see another go at this resistance here, possibly pushing higher towards 200% of it, of the correction at 67.20. Maybe a little bit of exhaustion trying to kick in, but we are still in a bullish trend. But however, I think if it takes out the lows from today, then we could see it sliding back to 65.90, 85 maybe, but still bullish trend. I think it will prevail and push higher. Dollar Canada. Well, we have dollar Canada that is now trading sideways, but it is in this bouncing mode. I think it will push higher, and if it takes out the spike up there from the 11th of September at 138.92, then I think we will also take out the peak up here at 139.25 with a push to 140. RSI is still in positive sentiment, and if it gets back above 60 threshold, it will support this bullish move here towards 140. I still believe we will see it up there. Key support here 137.20. We can see moving averages turning around. We are above the cloud. I still believe we will see dollar Canada pushing up there. Of course, it's not a slam dunk in a straight line. There will be some corrections and twists and turns on the way. Sterling Canada also, I believe we'll see it up towards 189. Now it's trading around these peaks here where we last time saw it being knocked down. So we can actually add a horizontal line. See these peaks here very close to it. So there are of course some sellers that are waiting up there to knock it back down, but still positive sentiment on the RSI indicating likely higher levels. But again, Sterling Canada is a very volatile pair or cross that suddenly could make a bigger correction, but we are in a bullish trend indicating likely higher levels. Euro Swiss, well, still key support here at 93, 15 days just above 93. I think if it takes out it once again, then we'll see it down to these levels here at 92.60, but it is not really fast moving across, at least not most of the time. So, but we are back below the cloud, below all moving averages. But there's no there's no negative sentiment. There's actually positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating we should see it bounce higher. But if it does close below 40 threshold and the Euro Swiss close below 93 or moves below 93, then I think we are in a bearish territory. Dollar Swiss, let's adjust this a little bit, 79.10, and then we also have a little bit of spike down here but we are in a bearish trend, negative sentiment supporting that, so I think we'll see it pushing lower here in the coming days and weeks, but it is taking a bit. We are below all moving averages. However, if it breaks above at the upper falling trend line there, well, then maybe we could see a counter trend up to around 81, where we have the 100 moving average coming down, kind of putting a lid on it. Dollar index sliding lower towards a 97, 96.86. I think it will take out this if it moves, if it comes down there, and if RSI closes back below 40 threshold, then I think we'll see lower levels there. We can see we are already in a bearish trend, lower lows and lower highs, and it seems to be continuing. So maybe that could push it even lower there. Moving on to the commodities market and goals, that is taking a breather and has done that for the better part of last week also. I still believe we will see a little bit of correction. You can see that the RSI is in decline. There's a slightly divergence there indicating trend exhaustion. At least short term, we could see a correction down to 3,536, which is the 38.2 retracement, but we are still in a fairly strong bullish trend. Also, if we're looking at the weekly chart, and here we are, we can see there is still room higher towards the 3,715 area, 3,735, which is these projections. I talked about them so much, so there's still potential up there, but a little bit of correction after this, maybe some profit taking is not unlikely before I think it will push higher. But if it takes out the previous all-time high, then expect strong another strong bullish move. Silver higher Friday again, so that one is on the move now, and you can see it getting closer and closer to the 43.25, and I think it will be reached. We talked about it the past few weeks that I think we will see it up here around 42.5 or 43.25, and just to repeat myself or refresh your memory, we can see where it's back. It's this area here, and we can also see the peak area was around 44.25. So I think we could get up there, and then if it takes out that, well, then we are back to the 2011 spike up there. That is even higher. Platinum slowly regaining ground here. We are above the cloud, we are above a 55 moving average, we have positive sentiment on the RSI. I think we will see a new test of the 786 retracement there at 1436.5 in this region. I think we'll see that, and if it takes out the the spike up also there, which I believe it will, then it will probably also take out the peak there at 1484 and a bit, and pushing higher towards and above 1500. Copper struggling around the 200 moving average. Really there, still negative sentiment on the RSI, so I think maybe it will slide back a little bit, but as you can see, bullish trend, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, high. Will we get a new high low, or will it be knocked back down? So for now, I will be a little bit cautious though, and we can draw a new trend line that is a little bit more steep like that. So keep an eye on that. And also we have this channel here, we can channel-like pattern, see if we can do that. So we are actually trading in a channel-like pattern for now at least. But be careful, it can easily be knocked down. We have the 55 coming down there, we have the 100 also coming down there, and it's still struggling with the 200. So there is some really strong overhead resistance underlying in the copper future. On the energy market, really not much to report. WTI crude oil still in this falling fairly wide channel there. Still bearish trend, and could still slide back to the 60 key support level. Brent 65 is the key supports. If it takes out that, then we're looking at 62.50. On the other hand, if we get a close above 69.53, well, then we have a little bit of a double bottom here that could push it higher towards 72.5, maybe even 73. But for now, range bound between 65 and 69. European nat gas, it's getting a little bit nitty gritty here. Dip to the 61.8 retracement, as you can see here. Well, I will clean it up a little bit so it's easier to see. There we go. You can see bounce there, and if it takes out the lows there and the 32 level, well, hit it bang on, well, then we are looking at 31 level down here. If not, well, maybe we can try to get back up again and maybe establish a bullish trend above 33.45 and test this upper falling trend line, but it's not really in the cards yet because we still have negative sentiment on the RSI. Interesting though, since we are moving into autumn here in Europe, and the need for heating is likely to increase, but maybe it's not really in the cards at the moment. US nat gas bounced from the 50 retracement or 50% retracement of this bullish move here, but still negative sentiment on the RSI. So I think if we take out that little spike down there 289, then we could also challenge the minor support there and push to the 284, 61.8 retracement, possibly lower. Moving on to interest rates and yields, well, we can see how the US 10-year Treasury yield bounced from the 4% and formed this, excuse me, this bullish engulfing there. So I think we'll see a fairly strong bounce, not establishing a bullish trend, but establishing a bounce up to 413, maybe up to around the 420 area, 421. It is not unlikely. However, if it takes out the lows there at just below 4%, well, then we are looking lower towards these lows here at 385 level. So, but this is actually a bottom and reversal indication. This bullish candle, you see it open lower and closed higher, and totally engulfs this body candle, and actually most of it acts with the wicks or the shadows also. So really a fairly strong indication of a bottom and a reversal. The European yields back above the rising trend line, trading around 2.7%. I think we will see up to 273, 274, which is the 61.8 retracement. I'm not quite sure it will move far higher than that, but as long as it stays above 263, well, then we are in a very strong bounce. If it takes out that, well, then we're looking lower below 260. The UK 10 bounced somewhat, but not even up to the 38.2 retracement. Should do it because we still have positive sentiment on the RSI. So let's see, I will remove this one there. We are now in this mode here. If it takes out 459, which I do not believe it will, but if it does, then we're looking at the 480 level, 448, sorry, 448. There should be bouncing potential up to 61.8 at 475. The Japanese 10-year keeps bouncing, also getting closer to 160, which is the 61.8 retracement. I think it will do it. Positive sentiment on the RSI. So as long as it doesn't break below the 153, then it seems to be headed higher. Bitcoin, fairly quiet over the weekend. If RSI can get back above 60 threshold, well, then we could see a push up towards 120, 121 thousands level. Ethereum, well, spiked almost up to the 786 retracement. We are back above the 60 threshold on the RSI. However, there is some divergence here, but if it can take out the falling trend line there, then I think we could see Ethereum pushing higher and possibly also get into a new all-time high. All right, that's all for today. Quick and dirty, I hope. I hope you enjoyed this from this early morning. Have a nice day and talk to you again tomorrow.